Welcome to our new series on AI. In the coming months, we'll be exploring the key challenges and opportunities within the rapidly expanding and evolving AI landscape. Today, we will focus on the state of AI regulations and laws in Hong Kong. My name is Jill Wong, and I'm speaking to you from the Hong Kong office of Smith Richards Butler. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has taken the world by storm. It is inevitable that we're asking questions about how AI is or should be regulated. Today, I'll give you an overview of the state of AI laws and regulations in Hong Kong, as well as what it might look like in the future. Currently, there is no one piece of legislation in Hong Kong regulating the use of AI. This doesn't mean that authorities here are ignoring it, simply that they are using existing laws to regulate AI and the use of AI, with the Privacy Commissioner of Hong Kong leading the way. In addition, the regulators for the financial services industries, such as the Securities and Futures Commission and the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, have both issued guidance that touch upon AI users. So firstly, the Privacy Commissioner. The Privacy Commissioner in Hong Kong has oversight over the collection, use, and storage of personal data. Clearly, AI raises a variety of data privacy and data protection issues. The guidelines that have been issued by the Privacy Commissioner set out a general framework for ethical and responsible AI development. There are two main guidelines issued by the Privacy Commissioner that I'm going to talk about. The first was issued in 2021, and the second, much more recently, in June 2024, so hot off the press. The 2021 guidance on the ethical development and use of artificial intelligence is aimed at good practices for AI solution providers and vendors based on three stewardship values: being respectful, being beneficial, and being fair. In summary, this means being respectful of the data rights of individuals, providing benefits to stakeholders, that's individuals and society in general, and making decisions fairly without bias or discrimination. Some of the good practices in this 2021 guidance are picked up upon and expanded on in the 2024 guidance. The newly issued 2024 guidance on artificial intelligence provides a framework which is much more expansive than the 2021 guidance and covers AI procurement, implementation, and use. This framework, although comprehensive, is non-binding. It offers a list of recommendations and best practices to ensure that key privacy and security concerns are properly handled throughout the AI lifecycle. This includes initial procurement, ongoing use, and the termination of AI systems. With that in mind, let me take you through the 4 pillars of the framework and what you should be paying attention to. The first pillar of the 2024 framework suggests that organizations should adopt a robust AI strategy and governance structure. What does this mean? This means that as an organization, you should establish a clear decision-making process for procurement, implementation, and use of AI. Secondly, you should conduct proper due diligence of your external AI service providers. Next, you should test the integration of the AI solution into your existing AI systems. And last but not least, you should establish a dedicated AI governance committee led by a C-suite executive, such as the Chief Financial Officer or the Chief Risk Officer. This committee should oversee AI matters, setting AI strategies, for example, monitoring implementation, and of course, ensuring compliance with existing laws and regulations. This committee should also have a direct reporting line to the board of directors. The second pillar of the framework is to conduct a risk-based assessment in the procurement, use, and management of AI. The purpose of the assessment is to identify AI risks and take appropriate risk mitigating measures. This means that in practice, your risk mitigating measures should be proportionate to the risk levels of your identified AI risks. How do you assess riskiness? Well, this is a judgment call depending on all of the circumstances of your particular use case. Here are some general pointers that might help you. AI use cases with higher risk may be identification of individuals using biometric data, assessment of job applications, or evaluation of creditworthiness for loans. AI users with lower risk may be translation of documents or news summaries. A key mitigating measure, whether or not it's in relation to higher risks or lower risks, would be human oversight. The extent of human oversight, which will be sufficient, really depends on the level of riskiness that you have assessed. The third pillar involves the customization of AI models. Customization refers to the process of adjusting a pre-trained AI model to meet your purposes to be used within your organization. The Privacy Commissioner has some suggestions for good data governance. For example, in the preparation of data sets for customization, you should not collect excessive personal data. Other good practices are use good quality data that has been lawfully obtained, ensure that the data is not discriminated. Other examples of good practices are use good quality data which is lawfully obtained, ensure that the data is not discriminatory or contain unjust bias, and use anonymized or synthetic data where appropriate. In addition, you should establish an AI incident response plan and also have regular audits. These practices help ensure that your AI system functions as you intended and that any issues are quickly identified and resolved. As the last pillar of this framework, you should communicate your AI use clearly with stakeholders. This includes informing data subjects and third parties about your data use and data processing, the decision-making factors, and data input selection. Transparency builds trust and allows stakeholders to understand how their data is being used. How about other regulators in Hong Kong? Well, they too have issued guidance to institutions that they regulate. The banking regulator in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, issued its 2019 High-Level Principles on Artificial Intelligence, which provides guidance to banks on systems development, data harvesting, and client engagement during the use of AI. The guidance focuses on three things. Firstly, board and senior management accountability. Next, good design and development of AI systems. And finally, ongoing monitoring and maintenance. So, what else is important in this guidance? Let me just mention a few. Obviously, the use of good quality data is important, as well as rigorous model validation, explainable AI applications, so no black box excuses, and being fair, ethical, and transparent. The securities regulator, or the Securities and Futures Commission, on the other hand, have published more focused guidelines on the use of AI chatbots for investment advice. You may ask, Jill, is that all? No, there are other AI issues that are worth thinking about. The first concerns the possibility of bias and discrimination in training machine learning models. Although there is no AI-specific anti-discrimination legislation in Hong Kong, You must adhere to existing laws in protected areas like employment and education. So if you utilize AI solutions in these areas, it would be prudent to be careful of inherent bias. Another issue is copyright law relating to AI-generated work. Although there is an argument that current provisions in Hong Kong's copyright laws protect AI-generated work, the legal position is actually not entirely clear. So, the director of the Hong Kong Intellectual Property Department of the Hong Kong government has recently announced that it intends to carry out a consultation this year to see how copyright laws can be enhanced in response to the rapid development of AI. Watch this space. AI may also raise anti-competition concerns. For example, some commentators have said that algorithmic collusion could occur in AI. This refers to competitors adopting a common pricing algorithm where independent self-learning machines learn to collude. This could lead to a potential infringement of Hong Kong's competition laws, which prohibits organizations from making agreements or engaging in practices that may harm competition. I'm also often asked, if my company doesn't use AI and I don't use AI in my work, should I worry? Well, you may not use AI, but AI and bad actors behind AI might well be using or abusing you. The rise of AI has led to an explosion of fraudulent schemes. In Hong Kong this year, we have been warned of the double-digit increase in phishing-related attacks alone. For example, a recent deepfake scandal resulted in a $200 million loss for a multinational company. This has been a quick overview of the current framework adopted by Hong Kong towards AI. Although the guidelines I've mentioned are not mandatory, they do set out the regulators' expectations of what you should do and what you should not do. You don't want to be caught out. Regulatory scrutiny is heightened. For example, the Privacy Commissioner recently conducted compliance checks on 24 organizations utilizing AI and have reiterated the need for organizations to observe data privacy laws. Compliance is enforced. For example, the Privacy Commissioner can issue enforcement notices. If you are a bank, securities broker, fund manager, or insurance company, your regulator may question your fitness and properness to remain licensed if you do not meet their expectations. What about the future for Hong Kong? As I mentioned, currently we are using existing laws and sectoral guidance to deal with AI. Given the Hong Kong government's ambitions to foster innovation and technology, I think it's likely that the current approach of constant supervision and education will continue. It's early days yet as to whether or not there will be AI-specific legislation. On that note, I'll close this talk. If you're thinking of implementing or enhancing your AI governance practices, or you want to create the next big thing in generative AI after ChatGPT, you may want to know more about the regulatory landscape in Hong Kong. If you do, please don't hesitate to contact us. We are happy to help. Thank you.